feel like at first, when you would be like, I'm a Christian artist, they would think like, oh, like their music's gospel or like whack or corny.
Nah,
Like,
that's why, like I said, I didn't listen to Christian music when I was younger. You know what I mean? Like before I started, because I used to imagine like the Lord is good, He is the best. You know what I mean? Like I never like, you know what I mean? Like I never heard like a good.
hey, what's good, YouTube? We're here on Nieves Podcast. My name is Christopher Nieves. My YouTube channels can consist of music, fashion, preachings, and vlogs. And today, on Season 1, Episode 1, we have the honor of having Lenny Mora, a dear friend of mine, someone I grew up with, who knew me through my good moments, through my bad moments, my youth leader. And I'm very proud to grow with him and, see what the future holds for us. Amen. Bless you, my guy.
God bless you, bro. How you doing?
Good, you?
Man.
So let's get cut to it, right?
Yes. Let's get in it.
All right. So for the first question, who inspired you to make music?
So I started making music in 2020, and since then my biggest inspiration, starting up was probably Almighty. Like it was just kind of really what happened was the story behind that was me and my stepdad. One day I got back from work. And my stepdad was like, yo, Lenny, tienes que escuchar esta persona, right? He's like, yo, you got to hear this person. So I'm like, all right, play it. You know what I mean? Because to be honest, I did not listen to no type of música urbana, like anything like that. I just kind of listened to worship, stuff like that. But he's like, yo, you got to hear this guy. So I'm like, all right. So he starts putting on Almighty, and I start hearing like Manigotes and Mi Testimonio and a whole bunch of, not Manigotes, Monigotes, whatever it is. I started listening to all his different songs, and I was like, dang, like, yo, this guy's pretty good. So that's when I started getting into like the música urbana world and started like kind of like getting a little deeper into it. And like I'm not even kidding you, I would listen to his music for hours, bro, like long time. You know what I mean? And I got to a point where I was like, yo, you know what? I think I could do this, low key. You know what I mean? Like obviously I don't sound like Almighty when I rap or anything like that, but I was like, yo, I think I could make music. So I started trying to come up with little verses and little different, stuff like that till I wrote my first song. And then from there it kind of just kept going. Now like Flex, my stepdad, and then my mom, they both make music, so they also had like a little bit to do with it, you know what I mean? Just growing up and seeing them and going to the concerts where we would see like Vlad, we would see Jake Khalil, we would see like Ivan Dofilos, Big Will, like all these different people. So all of those, had a part in it.
That's cool, bro. And so coming from a musical background, we know that their family does music, right? Or have some type of being in the music industry or whatever. So when did you realize like, yo, I could actually do this? Like, yo, I belong here, I'm actually good and I want to continue to grow and learn?
I would say for sure it was my stepdad. Like I would make songs and I would show him, and he'd give me his opinion. He'd just be like, yo, la molesta, it's good. Or he'd be like, you know what I mean? Which thankfully, thank God that never happened where he was like, yo, this is bad. Thank God he always says, they're good. He just told me to adjust little things. And then my first language is English. You know what I mean? I mean, I know how to speak Spanish as well, but my first language like is English. So he would like help me out with the lyrics. And my mom has a bigger part in that because her first language is Spanish. So she would help me out with the lyrics, make sure that everything's said right. But yeah, they were the ones that would kind of like, that they're the ones that gave me the security that I could do this. And then another thing that gave me a big like, hey yo, you know what? I'm gonna try. Was I was in the shower. I was listening to music. I was listening to Josue Rolón. He has a song that I was listening to, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna try writing a freestyle to this. So as soon as I got out the shower, I went straight to my room. I wrote a freestyle probably like an hour. I just found like a part of the song where he stopped singing and it's kind of just like flowing. You know what I mean? And then there I put a verse in, like a short verse. And I recorded myself in my car the next day, posted it on Facebook, and I started getting like comments like, yeah, you know what I mean? You should make music, and yo, you should keep doing this and whatever. So there was one specific comment that was like, yo, you should start making songs. That I was like, it made me think, and I was like, you know what? Let's try it. You know what I mean? And then from there, I mean, we are where we are.
Man, we say estamos activos. But now coming from a musical background, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we know. Now, being a musician, has that helped either with beats or just finding like a rhythm that you could like get on?
It does. So it does a lot. Like, so I've been playing the drums since I was like forever. Like my whole life, I basically, like, since I was little, always had like drumsticks or congas or something. So having all that stuff helped me learn like tempo, helped me learn just like different rhythmic patterns that I can incorporate into reggaeton, into, trap or whatever music I'm making. And not only that, I've been playing and listening to music for, my whole life. So even though it hasn't always been reggaeton, you know what I mean, or música urbana, but still that music has all played a part in the type of music I make today and the style and everything.
And like, who's your favorite artist right now at this moment?
That's tough. That's tough because I don't know, man. I got so many people that I like and like I admire. You know what I mean? Like Christian Ponce is hard. You know what I mean? I like Shalom. Shalom makes good music. There's just too many of them. You know what I mean? Because I like all of them. But está difícil. Está difícil.
Yeah, it is hard because there's a lot of artists and there's a lot of upcoming new artists. So it's
Yeah.
like every time someone's news coming out, it's like, yo, this person's really hard. Let me
Yeah.
listen to more of their music. And then you're like, yo, you got this guy or just everyone has their own style and their own like
'cause
niche.
you got like Enrique, Sariel, Yaniel, Kevin Yami, like mad people that are starting off. You know what I mean? That they're really good. But like my favorite, I don't know, bro. It's hard. It's hard.
Okay, so who would you say is your favorite out of the OGs?
Out of the OGs, like Funky Dia de Mido, Alex Zurdo, Manimonte.
Yeah, like I would say like the pioneers of like
I would
the
say
Christian
Alex Zurdo.
reggaeton.
Alex Zurdo for sure is my favorite out of them four.
Yeah.
I just like his style. I like the way he sings, and nothing. He's good. He's good.
Nah, he's
Actually,
good.
mete.
He's tough. I like him a lot. And now when you're making your music, right, and you have the concepts of your video or how you want to shoot it or the ideas that you have, how do
Mhm.
you get your outfit to be involved in that theme as well?
So I'm not super big on fashion. You know what I mean? Like I like dressing and stuff like that. I like dressing nice. But see, like, I'm gonna put something crazy on today. You know what I mean? Like I try to play it safe always. So my outfits don't be really that crazy in the videos. But what I do is like when I come up with the concept, I'm already thinking of when I come up with a concept for a video, I'm already thinking about the outfit. I'm already thinking about the storyline behind it because I like incorporating storylines in my videos. I start thinking of all that stuff, and so that's kind of where I come up. Like for example, I have this song coming up soon with Foforito, and he sings really good. So I listened to his music, and I kind of started getting an idea for the beat and all that stuff behind who he is and his style of music, and trying to mesh it with my style of music, and also the way he dresses, being a preacher and all of that, and mesh it with the way I dress. And so we came up with this cool concept wearing like black suits and stuff like that. So that should be coming out fairly soon, hopefully. But that's I just kind of think about the style and the story I want to say behind it, and then I go from there.
Yeah, I'm excited. I had the privilege to hear a little bit of that song. I know. It's dope, guys. So stay tuned. It's like a John Wick, Now I'm
John
playing.
Wick.
But it's tough. It's a nice song. It's definitely gonna like touch your heart. And like I said, if you're big into like reggaeton and some singing, definitely tune in for that.
Yeah, that whole process behind that story and I mean that song and making it all was crazy. Like, so the way it happened was me and Foforito, I met him probably like 3 years ago at Camp Andrews. It's like a camp over here in York. And so I talked to him and I was like, yo, I would like to do a song with you. This was like 3 years ago, you know what I mean? So like, yo, I would like to do a song with you, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, sí, vamos a hacerlo. And so I wrote the song. I wrote like the chorus, my verse, and I was like, look, this is you're gonna have this part here. Just come up with whatever you want to come up with. And we ended up recording it. He recorded it in Florida, and I recorded it up here in York. Thing was that like I had the song for like 3 years, and when I first started off, my name was Lenny. Like I kept my real name. Now I use like the name Lenny Mora or whatever. So during that, the first time I recorded it, I still had Lemuel. So time passed, and like I kept trying to find an opportunity to make a video with him, but it was just like not happening because he lived so far. You know what I mean? So time passes. It's like 3 years later now, which was probably like last month, and I'm like, "Yo, Favorito's coming to Philly." That's what Flex told me, and I was like, all right, bet. That means we could do the video. And he was like, yeah, yo, let's try it. Let's do it. And I was like, yeah, but I got to re-record it because the other one had Lemuel and this one has Lenny Mora. And he was like, yo, let's do the video and record it all in one one week. And I was like, dang, that's like, bro, it was a big, like, you know what I mean? That's a challenge. So I talked to Walde, which is my producer. Well, one of my producers, or one of the guys that I go to a lot. And I was like, yo, Walde, I have this crazy idea. Are you willing to do it? And he was like, sí, vamos a hacerlo. You know, no. So, bro, made time for me and everything. Set out schedule, you know what I mean? And I came in. I recorded Wednesday. Recorded till like super late. Then I left. Came back Thursday. I think it was Thursday or Friday. And I recorded something else with him. And then Saturday morning, I had to come back, and me and Foforito recorded the whole, like recorded all of his parts. And I also made the beat because I redid the beat and everything. It was all, bro, in like 4 or 5 days. I did like the whole thing. So, Foforito comes or whatever, and he does his verse and stuff like that. Right after he finished it, we did like a quick pre-mix, like mix and master, like just something simple, fast. And then we went to an Airbnb that I rented, and we did the whole video there. So like literally the whole video and song was recorded in like 4 days. And bro, it was like a crazy process, but it was cool because through everything, you just saw how God's plan worked and how God made everything fall into place. You know what I mean? Because there were certain things that weren't working out. Where do we record? What do we do? You know what I mean? And God just made it all work. And so, you know, for the glory of God, we were able to record it and, you know, hopefully come out with it soon.
Yeah, man, it's crazy because like you said, it's God's plan. So it's like even though it didn't work like a year or two ago, God knew the perfect timing that when Foforito, and huge shout out to Foforito, God bless you, that you know, that when he was here or just close to the region that we're in right now, he was like, you know, let's get this. I mean, not God saying it like that, but God's just saying like, let my will be done, and you know, you guys just putting your brains together and just hooking, you know, able to meet up, and it's pretty cool, guys. Like the song and the theme, everything. Like honestly, like it is dope. Like honestly, and you mentioned that you used to go by Limo Morales back then.
Yeah.
So what made you want to switch it up? Like, what was that thought process like?
Yeah. So I started off with Lemuel because I couldn't come up with anything cool. Well, I'm just gonna go with my name. But I've been called, my name's like, they call my nickname's been Lenny for forever. Like my mom started calling me that when I was little, and it just kind of stuck. You know what I mean? In school, everybody called me that because they could never say Lemuel. So, nothing. I just kind of wanted something new, something different. I wanted a new start because I felt like this new etapa, you know what I mean, that I was going into, this new season that I was going into. My music was changing a lot. You know what I mean? It was still the same message because I never want to just, you know what I mean, take out preaching and how do you say that, transmitting the word of God through music. You know what I mean? That's super essential for me in all my music. But it was changing, like when it comes to style, with delivery, with, you know, everything. And so I kind of wanted to have a new start. So I was like, well, I started thinking of different names, and I thought about a whole bunch of different names, but none of them was like hidden the same as Lenny Mora. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just go with Lenny Mora. I had that name like since I started. I just never like solidified it because I just felt like, I don't know. At first I was a little doubtful about it, but I'm really happy with it. You know what I mean? I feel like it sounds cool, so it is what it is. It's my nickname, and then my last name is Morales, so it's just like the first 4 letters of my last name.
Now, before you were down for Lenny Mora, right? Did you choose like, I mean, not choose, but did you have like a secondary name that was almost that where you're like, nah.
I mean, probably just keeping it simple, like Lenny, just Lenny.
Yeah.
Lemmy with an M, I didn't like that at all. That's just the M. I don't know. It sounded corny. Lemu, that was weird too. Lemo, like Lemo, like Le, you know what I mean? Lemuel, and then my last name Mora. So Lemo. It was just, I don't know, like little stuff like that, but it was just all of it was like, nah, you know what I mean? Lenny Mora, I liked it.
It was a good name.
And then my logo was crazy. So, my logo, I mean, I don't know if you guys ever see my logo. I mean, it's in most of my videos, but the logo is like a lamb because my real name is Lemuel Andres Morales, right? So my initials is LAM. So I have like a lamb and then a little line in the middle, and then I have the LM. But if you look at the L and the M, they come together and they kind of make like an LAM. You know what I mean? So it's pretty dope. So once I saw all them little connections and stuff, I was like, oh yeah, this is it right here.
Yeah, it's like you letting God flow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, God knew what he was doing.
So now we're talking about something like that we were both at, and it was a great experience for both of us. So recently, like I would say, I don't know, like March-ish, if I'm not mistaken, we went to a concert It was a Funky concert, but Funky had Gabriel EMC performing there as well, which that was tough.
That was super fire.
And so that was in Maryland. So we pulled up to Maryland with a group of from our church and from another church that we're friends with, and just talk about your experience, like your personal experience with being in a concert, you know, singing, you know, it's from Gabriel's performance or from the worship performance to Gabriel to then Funky, but also we also had the privilege and honor to we got VIP access to talk to them and take pictures. So talk to me about like your just whole experience and stuff. And how that like affected you and what you learned.
That experience was one of the bigger ones that like really impacted me in a lot of different ways. Also with Redimido's concert. So my first concert ever that I went to that was like Música Urbana was Redimido's concert, like big concert. Redimido's concert in Puerto Rico. There, yo, that was like a crazy experience. I met so many people and God really opened doors. So when I went to this concert, I kind of had like high expectations, you know what I mean? But my expectations were met, you know what I mean? Maybe nothing crazy happened, you know what I mean? But definitely it was a blessing to go there and meet them two guys. And so like walking to the concert, you know, the energy's there, like everybody's mad hype. They had t-shirts and stuff like that. I even bought a t-shirt. So you get into the concert and then you just start seeing like this worship team perform and they did a good job. And then you start seeing, you know, Gabriel MC and just being able to see him in person and see how he communicates with the crowd, how he interacts with them. You know, you kind of start learning, you know, what are things that you should be doing or you know, things that kind of keep the crowd engaged. And so it was really cool, like being in that whole environment, having, you know, going through that whole experience, being in that concert, especially going with friends and stuff like that. We were like mad hype, yelling all the songs and jumping and stuff. But the person that really impacted me with their performance and everything was Funky, because you know I like Funky, don't get me wrong, but I don't listen to his music like as much as I listen to Alex Zurdo, like we talked about earlier, or like, you know, but I knew like a lot of the songs. Like I was like at the concert, I was like, yo, I know this one too. I know like a whole bunch of them. And then like his performance is crazy. Like that guy is just like another thing. Like he'll grab the mic and he'll be going with it, and then he'll leave and then come back. And then like you said, I'm a musician, so I watch the musicians, and the musicians they were just killing it. Like the drummer, I really like the way he plays because he was just smiling the whole time. So it kind of brings the energy to like not only the band, but to everybody else in the crowd watching. He looks mad hype, like excited to play. You know what I mean? And all that, you can just see all them different things, and it's like, wow, yo, this guy, te le mete de verdad, you know what I mean? And then we paid for a VIP, so we got to meet them as well. So just their attitude and everything like that was super nice, man. They were like super humble, super down to earth, you know. And it was a cool experience for sure. And then I kind of, you know, I took advantage of the time. I was like, yo, Funky, tengo una pregunta, ¿sabes? Yo canto música urbana y quiero un consejo para seguir, ¿sabes? And he was like, Acho, ¿qué es tu nombre? I was like, Lemuel. He was like, Acho, Lemuel, ¿sabes? It's not as easy as it looks. Like you see everybody here and you see the concerts and you see, you know, people growing and you think they grow fast and whatever. But it's not like that. Like it takes time, it takes effort, it takes dedication. So be patient. You know what I mean? As long as you're doing God's work, whatever, it'll work out. And Gabriel MC, super quiet. Yo, I thought he was going to be like, because in the songs, he's always like, you know, like fronteando, you know what I mean? Like in a good way, but he's like, you know, but in person, he was like, you know, just chilling, like not saying nothing. He was like super quiet, almost shy. I was like a little shocked by that. But it was a cool experience.
Yeah, I remember like Funky, like he's a classic. Like just like speaking to him and stuff. Like when I approached him, he's like, "Papi, tú eres de lo mío porque tú eres blanquito con ojos de color," which you know I am. And then when I spoke to Gabriel MC, he was just like, you know, he was just calm, like just very calm and relaxed and chill. So like you can see like not that he's shy, but like, you know, you can see like the difference between like the personality from Funky. Funky's like, dímelo, ¿qué pasa? And then Gabriel Moore is like laying back, chilling, like a very observant. And it was just cool just being able to talk to them, because seeing them perform on stage, you know, Funky's going crazy. He jumped in. The musicians were fire. He was going. You know, he was handling his business. And then when Gabriel performed, he was interacting with the crowd and stuff. But it was more like he was more like concentrated, like on on his rapping, the bars, like all that stuff. And then he'll talk to the crowd. And the thing that impacted me actually is when Gabriel took like a time in his performance to talk about God and talk about like, even though he's rapping and being like a reggaetonero y haciendo música urbano, like he's still preaching the gospel. It's just in a different way. And through that way, he's helping a lot of youth nowadays, which a lot of youth, especially like in Puerto Rico, just like the whole Latin America, there's a lot of like violence. You got a lot of these artists that are big, right? Who are sometimes giving out a not so good message, and then that influences people. So when they start listening to those songs talking about like perreo or matanza, like all that stuff, so it's kind of like, you get it, not that you get addicted, but you're like, okay, like, oh, I'm gonna live that lifestyle now, because you got all these big artists doing that in the whole Latin America. But now you have like Gabriel and Funky preaching the gospel. You got Gabriel giving like a quick testimony about his life, and then you got Funky that he took a time to, he put a worship song on, and that joint, that joint was hard. Oh my god, that joint was nice. Tough. Like a cross came up in the background. It had like the lyrics, and then the musicians, and then everyone was just into it. It was just like I went from like reggaeton to worship, and everyone just like boom, like adorando, like worshiping God and stuff. So it was cool. I had a blast. Like that was my first like Urbano concert. I went to a concert before that was Christian one, but it was American and it was okay. But being to like a Spanish one, it was lit for real, and I'm very excited to go to more like Urbano concerts and stuff like that.
They got one coming up.
Yeah, we gotta go to
that. yeah. In December, Choliseo, that'd be dope.
Yeah, it's different like environment, like just you see them on YouTube or in pictures on Instagram or whatever, but like actually seeing them, and like they're very humble. They're like very, very humble. Like sometimes you think these artists are like cocky or whatever, and which some of them are, you know what I mean, because like they're big or they're making a lot of money and stuff, which is understandable. But you always got to remember, like, you're human just like me, and then you can't forget where you come from too. So just having humble beginnings and being humble, and then like for example, right, like Funky gave you that advice, and even like Gabriel didn't speak that much, but like actions speak louder than words, and just seeing him like calmao and relax and stuff, that is saying a lot, because like he didn't let that get to his head, even though he's probably like one of the big top 10 Christian artists that are fire, you know what I mean, and just his testimony. And Funky, like Funky's OG, you know what I mean, he could retire right now if he wanted to and he'd be good, but he's just he's doing what God called him to do, and talking to people and being good, and for
sure.
So what you think about that? Like sometimes when people like get big or change, do you think it's more like the money changes them, or you think it's just like a mental that switches?
So I think it's the fame, you know what I mean, but it's kind of tough because I'm not in that position to, you know what I mean, so I can't really speak too much on that. But I think the biggest thing would be like the fame, just having all that attention, and all them people like going to paying what we, you know what I mean, what we pay to go to concerts, paying that, and taking time out of their day just to go see you and all that stuff. I think sometimes it's hard to keep a balance between being human and then remembering, you know what I mean, that you're just like everybody else, and then having mad people coming up to you like, yo, let me get a photo, can you sign my t-shirt, can you sign my Supreme bag, you know what I mean, like
sign my baby.
yeah, like, you know what I mean. So like all that stuff is like I can see how it will get to somebody's head, you know what I mean, but at the same time, that's why it's important to take care of our relationship with Christ, you know what I mean, and have people around you as well that are willing to tell you like, mira, bájale que está crecido, you know what I mean, that está crecido, like, because if not, it could lead, it could be bad, you know what I mean, especially as being a Christian, you know what I mean, because like worldly artists, it don't really matter if they're, I mean, it does matter because they give them a bad rep, but if they're cocky or anything, it doesn't really reflect on what they believe or anything like that. Where us, like, if we're acting a certain way, then everybody else, they're gonna be like, you know what I mean? Because like we were talking about earlier, or like I spoke to you about earlier, like we're representatives of Christ, no matter where we are, no matter where we go. And so even in regular conversations, if I'm like, yo soy el mejor, whatever, then how does that represent Christ? You know what I mean? Because we're the body of Christ. And so those are things that we have to really be careful of as Christians, where in the world, it's kind of like, yo, you know what I mean?
And like one person I like a lot is Redimido, because like Redimido comes from like a poor background, and basically he's like number one. So just seeing how he is, like when he talks on other podcasts, like with Maluco or Chente, just the way he expresses himself is just like a normal guy. It's a normal dude. He may have the clothes, the shoes, because that's what he's into. Ain't nothing wrong with that, but just still giving out the same message. God loves you. God can restore you. God can fix you, and God's coming.
Yeah.
And that's what God could do to us, just change our lives, restore relationships, restore our families, make us into new people. Even though we did some wild stuff back then, God
Mm-hmm.
could change you, make you to a new version, a new person of yourself. Even though people might not believe it at first, but trust me, God's gonna work and prove them wrong. Like, you don't
Mm-hmm.
even have to do it. God's gonna be like, okay, cool, you don't want to believe that I restored them? Toma.
Yeah.
And then you gotta
By your
see.
fruits. By your fruits.
Yeah, by your fruits, like Galatians chapter 5. Just I believe that whole
No chapter.
verse, the whole chapter, yeah, talks about like the fruits of the spirit. What are the fruits of the spirit and stuff like that, and having those in our lives. And also, there's like another Bible verse I believe too that talks about like through your fruits we shall know you, like you said. So
Por sus
that's a
frutos
big
se
thing too,
conocerán. Yeah.
and stuff. But so like you're a young guy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I know you try to make music for the youth. So what's the thought process like? Like, do you try to put yourself like in their shoes, even though you're young, or like do you try to think like, yo, like I know people are going through this. Let me try to talk about this subject or that topic. Like, how does that work?
Yeah. So one weird thing that like about me, like when I was in school and I used to write like stories and stuff like that. For some reason, I always did it from like first person, like if I was that person, you know what I mean, writing. And so I would write like a story, like yo, you know what I mean. I woke up, whatever. Like so, when it comes to music, sometimes I come up with like an idea or something I want to talk about, like depression or drugs or whatever it is, and I try to put myself in that person's shoes and try to be like, if I was that person, how would I feel? And you know what I mean. And like Ojo Negro, that was my whole thought process behind that song. I was like, I've personally never been through like a really, really dark, deep depression. You know what I mean? Which somebody hearing the song could think opposite because I've had people ask me like, yeah, you know what I mean? Yo pasé por lo que tú pasaste. And I'm like, you know what I mean? But I'm like, I didn't go through that. But, thank God. But I try to put myself in the shoes of them people and try to imagine like, yo, if I was feeling like this, how would it feel? And I try to put that on paper, you know what I mean? And make it rhyme or in my notes or whatever, you know what I mean? And then make a song out of it. And so that's really my thought process. But it really depends the type of song, you know what I mean, and what exactly I want to do.
Yeah, that's good because like even though we don't, like we might have been through those stuff or experienced what people experience, just to have an idea and like you said, put yourself in their shoes or like their perspective of things, like
Mm-hmm.
how would they feel? What's their thought process like? Or what would I do if I was in their situation or something like that, for example? And then like you got Ojo Negro, you got Lejos, which is one of
Mm-hmm.
my favorites. And then El Tiempo se Acaba, that's his very
It was
first song.
yeah, that was my first song
Which,
ever.
which basically talks about like God coming and trying to get right with God. If you correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, like that very first song, my idea behind that song was hopefully this is gonna open doors. You know, me doing music, and so I need a song that gives a strong message. You know what I mean? I felt like that was a perfect message. That if they invited me anywhere, outside, indoors, Jesus is coming. You know what I mean? Cristo viene pronto. You like that's the message to give, especially in these times that we're living. And so that's why I chose that concept be my very very first song, so that no matter where I got invited to at that time, it was like boom, el mensaje claro. You know what I mean? Cristo viene, and it's time to give our lives to Christ.
You have another song called Goso Goso, which is featuring Flex
Yeah.
and his cousin. What was his cousin?
Eli. No,
Eli.
Ellie.
Ellie. And that's just basically talking about like the Goso Goso guy, like
Yeah.
just having that like being positive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that concept was crazy too. I was like chilling at work, and I was like, go so, like just singing the regular song, and then I started looking at beats on YouTube, like whatever, salsa type beats, you know what I mean? And then I'll put that, then I just picked one, and I was like, so, and it just worked out, you know what I mean? And that song was crazy. The whole experience, recording with all the youth, we planned the car show for the youth, like as a fundraiser, and we charged like an entrance for the cars to come, and all that was for the youth. You know what I mean? We sold food that day. We had like a little salsa and different type of music or whatever. And so we had like some crazy cars show up to the church. Like, I'm not gonna lie, our church is kind of like in the ghetto. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, we in the trenches
yeah,
now.
the church is kind of like in a crazy spot. So nothing like, bro, a Lamborghini showed up. Where are you going to see a Lamborghini at Out Parkway? Like, never. You know what I mean? A Lamborghini showed up. We had a Mercedes show up, like a nice Mercedes, like one of the AMGs. We had a Supra. Some nice cars, bro. Some really nice cars. So, a Corvette. So, it was just crazy, bro. Like, God put everything in its place. So, that video was super dope.
Yeah, like, and just like my experience, like being in the video with all the other youth, like it was good. We went to the park, and from the park we went to the church, and then like it was just different like shots, for the
Yeah.
video and stuff like that. And then they did a shot for the kids too, which that's pretty cool. Having
Yeah,
kids in the
yeah.
video and stuff.
Ellie.
And the cool thing about having our church like in the ghetto or whatever is like, Bible says we gotta be light in the darkness. So what's not a better place to be in the hood? You know what I mean? Like obviously people who live in the hood or maybe live that lifestyle, they see a church, they see like all these Spanish people and stuff like that, or bilingual people out here talking about God, then they could be like, yo, like let me go check that out real quick. I might not
Yeah.
serve God, I might not know too much about God, or they might know a lot about God, but it didn't have that experience yet or encounter. So they're like, let me go get that experience. Let me check that out or check out the event. That's why we do the events, because it's not only like to benefit us or the church or whatever. It's also to bring souls to the church,
benefit the community.
to catch someone's eye. A lot of people
Yes,
like
sir.
cars or music, food. Everyone loves food, bro. Everyone loves pinchos. I kid you not, man. If you haven't had pinchos, then go get one. But just catches people's attention. Then they go check it out. Sometimes they want prayer for stuff, or sometimes people even accept God. And next thing you know, boom, they're at church. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's very true. I know there was like, if you watch the video, they got, Flex was praying for somebody in the video. Like you just see a lot of, God working even in music videos. Like the last video that we recorded with Foforito, you know what I mean? We got to pray for one of the people there and everything like that. And that's why, like, even in music videos, even like behind the scenes, I know God's working, like in the producers and all of that. So it's dope. You know what I mean? That the music that I make, I know it's not, in vain. And it's not because of me, it's because of God. You know what I mean? I know that it like it says, the word doesn't return void,
So now I have a question. So the day you recorded the Foforito song for Airbnb, I was with you and we were at the Stop the Violence event, and we had the privilege to watch Cristian Ponce preach, and he sang a little bit, which that was hard. But when it was your turn to sing up there on the stage, was you nervous? How did it feel to have a lot of people like watching you like that? Because there's a lot of people there that day. They might not have been like exactly like in the front, but like there's someone in the cut, maybe eating like a panadilla or something, watching you. You know what I mean?
It was dope. I mean, it was like so I've been singing at Stop the Violence for like I think 3-4 years now. Like since I started, they've always invited me. Shout out to Pastor Alex and everything. And so they invited me this year, and it was definitely like a privilege being there. And the people there, the way they treat me, I always feel good. You know what I mean? Singing there, they show me a lot of support. And so I was a little nervous. You know what I mean? Especially because Cristian Ponce sang like probably like 20 minutes ago. But at the same time, I was super excited, and I felt grateful for the opportunity. You know what I mean? Even though I didn't really get to talk to him or anything like that, but it was still dope. Being able to share that space with him. And then not only that, it's outside. So I got to like really talk to the community and kind of give some words, and try and minister to them, because that's like you said earlier, that's what we're here for. That's what we do, preach. So it was dope. It was dope.
And for those who don't know, Cristian Ponce, he got signed to Carbon Fiber. And Carbon Fiber used to be a secular. For those who don't know, it was a secular what's it
Like
called?
label, like
It's a secular label, right? And it had a lot of big artists. But now since they transitioned to becoming a Christian, Frank Miami was the first to convert, and then Faruko and all these other people who came along. So now, what's your opinion on the whole Carbon Fiber, the new atmosphere that they're trying to put out, the new things that they're trying to do, and also with Daddy Yankee converting and making music?
Just like in general, like the people.
Yeah, just all that.
I think God's doing some crazy things right now, and I think like God's gonna be opening a lot of doors soon, and a lot of things are gonna be changing in La Música Urbana in a positive way. You know what I mean? Because of the conversion of these people. Because I mean, you see their numbers, you see everything they did in the world, and so they have a lot of support and a lot of followers. You know what I mean? A lot of followers that need of Christ, because they're not Christian followers, most of them. You know what I mean? And so I feel like God is really moving, especially in that world. Like we see. Like Jay Wheeler, I don't know if you saw his post, but he was saying like, I love making music, but I love making music even more when I'm doing it for Christ. You see people like Luar Laele already making songs with Onel Diaz. You see people, collaborating and making music, kind of leaning towards that Christian environment. And then if you start looking up their stories and all their backgrounds and stuff like that, most of them are either their grandparents are pastors, or their parents are pastors, or they were sang in the church group when they were little, or like almost all of them have ties to Christianity. They're somewhere
up in church.
Yeah, to God. So I know that they're one day, all of the ones that we just mentioned, they're gonna come. You know what I mean? And Redimido made a song not long ago. And at the end of Almighty's song, Filipenses 4:13, with him and Redimido, you see all the names pop up on at the end of the video. I don't know if if you ever watched the whole thing, but if you watch to the end, and some of them names are already converting. You know what I mean? Lady Over. I don't know if Lady Over was on the wall, but Daddy Yankee. You know what I mean? Farruko. And you see Lady Over converting. Like you see all these people converting, and it's just dope. You know what I mean? It's dope. I know that God's gonna do a lot of crazy things, and I just feel grateful to be part of it. You know what I mean? Hopefully, I could be even more part of it, more involved. But it's nice, man. It's nice.
It's cool. I feel like right now, like music, a lot of people who think Christian people who make music, like reggaetonero, like urbano, and then English rappers who are Christian that make music. I feel like at first, when you would be like, oh, I'm a Christian artist, they would think like, oh, like their music's gospel or like whack or corny. But now, like, the times kind of have changed in a way. Like now you got some good songs. Like they're fire. Like
that's why, like I said, I didn't listen to Christian music when I was younger. You know what I mean? Like before I started, because I used to imagine like the Lord is good. He is the best. You know what I mean? Like I never like, you know what I mean? Like I never heard like a good Christian song. You know what I mean? Like obviously I listen to worship, but I never listened to secular music. You know what I mean? But like I listen to worship, but I never listened to música urbana because I was like, this is trash. You know what I mean? But then as I started getting deeper into it, and just as time has passed, you've seen like the growth. Like Nate Diaz, this type of stuff that he's doing right now. You see like a whole bunch of people that they're like, yo, this guy, Sariel, you know what I mean? You see mad heads that they're like, yo, this guy, you know what I mean? It's good music. And the most important thing is that the message is like, you know what I mean? Like it's all about God, Cristocentrico. It's all about God, it's all about Jesus, it's all about what he did for us. And so that's my favorite part, you know what I mean? That even though it is evolving and stuff like that, but they haven't like taken Christ out of it, because once you take Christ out of it, then you're just making sound. You're not making music. You know what I mean?
You just at that point you're just noise. You know what I mean?
You're just noise.
But to be wrapping up soon, do you have like advice to upcoming rappers or youth who may struggle with trying to find God? It's like they want to, but like something's holding them back, so they're not able to give like 100%. And then, like I said previously, for those upcoming artists who are new, that they're trying to figure out like their own sound and how to learn.
Yeah. I'd say for sure, if you're an up and coming youth, you know what I mean, or not up and coming youth, but a youth that wants to serve God and wants to get closer to God, don't be afraid of getting closer to God. Don't be afraid of messing up. Don't be afraid of being imperfect. You know what I mean? Because every day we fall short of the glory of God. And so it's important that even though we are imperfect and even though we do mess up, to continue to seek God and to continue to try to get closer to God, because he's the answer, he's the solution. And sometimes we kind of take that for granted. We take for granted the time we have here, the time we're living. Since we're young, we feel like we have the whole world ahead of us. Like I was talking about this weekend, we feel like we just got all the time in the world, and we're kind of selfish in a way, because we focus on our future and all this stuff, even though God is the one that allows us to wake up the following day. You know what I mean? God's the one that gives us our each and every breath. And so it's important to realize that, be grateful of that, and give our lives to Christ. You know what I mean? Because Jesus is coming soon. I mean, we see the signs, and it's all biblical. Like any day now, Jesus is going to show up on that white horse, and I want to make sure I'm on it. You know what I mean? So that'd be definitely the advice to the youth that are looking to get closer to God. And for the artists, I'm an up-and-coming artist too, and I think the biggest thing for me has been just staying focused, staying determined, and then making sure you got a strong relationship with Christ. You know what I mean? Like, doing this is not easy. It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of dedication and just grinding. You know what I mean? But it's all worth it, especially because even if one life comes to Christ through one song, you know what I mean? And let's say that song costs you whatever X amount of dollars, it's worth it. You know what I mean? A life is worth way more than the money or the time that you spend. It's one life for Christ, one life, a soul. You know what I mean? That's super valuable in the eyes of God, and it should be valuable in our eyes, you know what I mean, as Christians. And so just keep doing what you're doing, stay focused, that God's using you, you know what I mean, whether you see it or not.
Can you tell us like where we can find you,
Yeah. So I'm as Lenny Mora on everything: Spotify, Apple Music, TikTok, Instagram. I might be on as Lemuel under iTunes, but pretty much everything else I'm under Lenny Mora.
Okay. And is there one artist that you would like to collab with right now?
Right now, definitely. There's a whole bunch of them. But
who would be like let's say you had the number right now, you're like, yo voy a llamarlo. Boop, boop, boop. Who would you call first? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would. If I had the opportunity to make a collab with anybody right now, and I had their number and they had to make a song with me, It'd probably be Daddy Yankee for
Daddy
sure.
Yankee.
Yeah, because he's just converting, and all the music he's made so far has been like super Christ focused. You know what I mean? And that's my favorite thing about him. And I feel like that would be like super. You know, that'd be big. You know what I mean? So
El big boss.
yeah.
Estamos aquí, Bobby.
You
No,
know, yeah.
but I'm just, like you said, it's a path that you're on, and this is a new path that I'm starting as well with the whole
Yes, sir.
YouTube channel stuff. I actually started doing Instagram podcasts, like Instagram lives. I had Lenny, he was my first one actually, and it was Caleb Banks that they had their first song together. Talk to Me Nice. Definitely go check out. And it's just a beautiful, thing, because it's like at first I was really hesitant. I wasn't sure about doing like this podcast or live stuff. It was Lenny kind of like, he's like, dale, bro. Like I had a thought, you know what I mean? I mentioned it to him, and then I just kind of like, I let it fly, and then I came back to it. So, and then just doing with other people who hopefully I can have them back on for my YouTube channel and stuff like that. And I'm just really just putting everything in God's hands and just letting God work. You know what I mean? I'm super excited because I know God's gonna open doors. There's some doors that are gonna open up down this month and stuff like that. And I'm very thankful for the pastor of this church for letting me use his space, and his son too. Shout out to Kevin and Vladi. The big support and been helping me. I really appreciate them a lot, and my mom and stuff. But just to wrap it up, just want to say subscribe to my YouTube channel, leave a like and comment. If you need prayer, just type prayer in there. Or you don't gotta say what it is unless you want to, and then I'll consider you. I'll put you on my prayer list. And for my YouTube people who are watching this, I really appreciate you out watching, and thank you.
Yes,
Peace.
sir. See you.